everyone, welcome back to another video. I hope you're doing well. So today is more of a chill video, not very organised, because I just had this idea in my head of a bag that I want to make, but I don't really have a pattern in my head and I've not practiced it, so I guess we'll just see what happens. But basically I have this idea of this kind of cream colour bag that's like cute and small, and it has kind of like a sort of triangular shape baguette kind of style bag, and I'm going to line it as well with some fabric, and I was going to add some sort of button. I've got a few buttons that I never use buttons, but I should, but I always forget that I have them. So, and we'll just get into it, what we need to make it and all that stuff. So to start, I'm going to show you everything that you're going to need. So I've got a 100-gram bowl of chunky yarn. I'm pretty sure this one is discontinued. I've said this in my bluebell bag video that this yarn is discontinued, but you can get yarn like this pretty much everywhere. So it's just like a white cream chunky yarn. I'm actually not sure what weight this is either, sorry. But yeah, I've also got a 4mm hook because I want the bag to be quite dense. I don't really want any gaps in the stitches today, so I'm going to use a bit of a smaller hook, 4mm hook today. I've also got some dressmaker pins, and I've got some scissors, and I've got some embroidery thread, really tiny sewing needle. Just be careful with these because these are really sharp. The last two things, the best things, saving the best till last. Yeah, look at this fabric. I got this from my local fabric shop. Oh my goodness, I'm showing it upside down. It's just, I don't know, there's just something about it. I think it's so special. And I have this sort of vintage style brown button that I think I'm going to use to fasten it. It has like this stitching around the edge. It's just really nice. Yeah, I got this in a charity shop, and the amount of good things that you can find in charity shops, yarn and fabric and like everything here you could easily find in a charity shop. I also thought I'd just show you this bag that I made a while ago for like a Valentine's Day bag I made. This is kind of what I'm thinking of, something this shape, but not the frills, just the general shape of the bag. I also want to make it slightly bigger because this is quite small. So yeah, that's kind of the inspiration for today. So for this bag, I've decided that I'd like to do the moss stitch for the main part of the bag. So I've just got my main colour here, and for the moss stitch you need to chain an even number amount of stitches. So I'm going to go for about 40 and see how that looks, but I'll let you know if I add or remove some chains. So yeah, I'm going to make a chain now of 40. So I think I'm going to make mine slightly bigger, so I'm going to add 2 more chains, making it 42. Okay, so that looks good to me. So to start the moss stitch, you're going to want to make 1 single crochet into the 4th chain from the hook. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, this one here. And then you're going to chain 1, skip the next chain, make a single crochet in the next chain, and then repeat this, chain 1, skip, and single crochet in the next. Chain 1, skip, and single crochet in the next. And I'm going to continue this all the way to the end of the row. So that is row 1 finished. For row 2, you're going to chain 2, turn the work, and you're going to make 1 single crochet into that chain space, chain 1, and then make another single crochet in that next chain space, chain 1, make another single crochet in that next chain space. You're going to repeat this all the way down to the end of the row. now just finished row 2, and for the last single crochet it goes in that chain 2 space there. So for the rest of the front and back panel that we're going to make, it is just repeating row 2, which is chain 2, turning the work, and then making a single crochet in the chain spaces, and chaining 1, single crochet in the chain space, chain 1, single crochet in the chain space, just as we did in the previous row. And you're going to want to repeat that until you reach the height of sort of the middle part of your bag. So as you can see here in this bag that I made, I crocheted to about here and then I started decreasing. So I want to do the same thing, so I'm going to crochet until I'm happy with the height before I want to start decreasing. Okay, so I ended up doing 12 rows of the moss stitch. Now I'm going to do a row where I decrease, because now I want to start decreasing every other row. So I'm going to chain 2 as normal, and instead of making that single crochet in that first chain 1 space, I'm going to make it in the second chain 1 space, and then that will bring it inwards. And then I'm just going to continue as normal, chain 1, single crochet into the next chain space, chain 1, single crochet, chain 1, single crochet. You're going to want to do that until you get to the end of the row, just before the end of the row. So once you get to your last 2 chain spaces, you're going to want to stop, and then I'm going to show you how to decrease at that part. So you should be around here. So I'm going to show you now how to do the last decrease at the other end. So you're going to want to chain 1 as normal, and you're going to insert the hook into the next chain 1 space to do your single crochet. But before you finish your single crochet, you're going to make another in that last chain 1 space, pull up a loop, and then yarn over and pull through all 3. And then you're going to want to chain 2 and start your next row as normal. So for the next row, which is row 14, I'm going to be just doing a normal row, no decrease, and then for row 15 I will make a decrease, and I'm going to alternate until I get to the height of the bag that I want. And then in the last row I will do a normal row, but I will get to that part once I've reached that part. So yeah, so I've just finished my final row where I was alternating the decrease, and I finished on row 20, which was just a normal row. So now for the rest of the bag, I think I might do a couple of inches more of rows, and that will just be the normal moss stitch. So I'm going to chain 2, turn the work, and then make a single crochet in the chain space, chain 1, crochet, chain 1, single crochet, all the way to the end. And then I'm going to continue doing that for a few more rows, maybe 3 or 4 rows. So yeah, I'll come back and let you know how many rows of the normal stitch I ended up doing. Okay, so here's what the final bag panel should look like that you've made. I just wanted to summarise again the rows. So rows 1 to 12 is a normal moss stitch. Rows 13 to 20, you want to alternate a decrease and then a normal moss stitch row. And then rows 21 to 24 is just a normal moss stitch row. So now that I've reached the end of my panel, I'm not going to fasten off. I'm actually going to do a row of single crochet all the way around, just to make the edges a bit neater, because it's kind of looking a bit boxy right now and we want it to kind of look a little bit more circular. So yeah, I'm going to do a row of single crochet. So I'm going to chain 1 from where we were, and I'm going to just work all the way around, adding a single crochet you know, in the spaces that I can see. Obviously it's a bit more difficult because they're not typical stitches we would go into, but yeah, I'm just trying my best to go into each little space that I see, making sure that they're kind of evenly spaced out as well. Okay, so I just made a single crochet all the way around, and I stopped at this corner because obviously here we've already got a nice neat edge, so I basically started from here and I went all the way around to the bottom, back up, and then I just stopped here. And I've just made a little chain too, and now I'm going to fasten off. Just going to pull that tight. And you're now going to want to make a second one of these panels, and then I will come back when I've made my second one and show you how to attach everything together. So I've just finished my second panel, and now I'm going to show you how to make the bag strap. So I'm going to make mine similar to this one, where the bag strap will go all the way around the bag and on the bottom, but I'm going to make this strap slightly longer. So this strap from here to here, around here, measures about 18.5 inches, but this is a little bit short for my personal preference, so I'm going to make mine about 23 inches long. And for the actual border part, just this section here, it measures 27 inches. So I'm going to be doing about 50 inches altogether, a 50-inch long strip that we're going to make. So for the bag strap, I'm just going to make a slip knot. And then I'm just going to make a chain of 8. Remember, you need an even number of chains to do the moss stitch, so I'm going to do a chain of 8. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, and then I'm going to single crochet into the 4th chain from the hook. I'm going to chain 1, skip a chain and single crochet into the next chain, and then repeat that, chain 1, skip a chain and single crochet into that last chain. Okay, so that's what that should be looking like. And then going to chain 2, turn the work, and I'm going to weave in this end that I have as well. So I'm just going to loop that round the front of the hook, and I'm going to single crochet into the next chain space, chain 1, skip a stitch and single crochet into the next chain space, chain 1, skip that last stitch and single crochet into that last little space, like that, chain 2, and you're just going to want to repeat this until your bag strap reaches about 50 inches. So I will come back once I have reached 50 inches. So I've just finished the 50 inches, so I'm going to fasten off now. I'm going to chain 2, and then I'm going to leave quite a long tail for sewing as well. To pull that tight, like that. So before I start attaching the panels together in the bag strap, you're going to need to mark out exactly how much fabric you're going to need. So I've just laid one of my panels down on the wrong side of the fabric, so you want your wrong side to be facing up, and you're just going to take a pencil and you're just going to roughly mark out the shape of this panel. Okay, and then I'm going to repeat that again next to it. So you want two of those panels. So now I'm just going to cut out these two shapes, and I'll come back when these are both cut out. Okay, so I've just cut out my fabric panels, but now I'm going to join everything together. So you're going to want to take your panels of your bag and you want to flip them onto their wrong side. So wherever kind of the neater side is, you want to flip that over. It should look a little bit more like folded in. That's how you know it's the wrong side. So you want your wrong side of both of your panels on top of each other, and then you want to grab your bag strap and you want to flip it onto its wrong side like this. And I'm going to take the side that where we began the bag strap. I'm going to have that on the right, and I'm going to have the area with the string part. That's going to be where we sew this part of the strap to this edge, so it's kind of going to go in a bit of a weird shaped circle. So I've got it positioned here, so it's going to go all the way around like this, and then you're going to have your strap that's going to attach here. What I'm going to do is take my yarn and I'm going to make a slip knot. I'm going to position the bag strap like such, so it's going to be in between both of the panels like that. And I'm going to start on the top panel first. So I'm going to insert my hook into the corner, and then I'm going to insert the hook into the corner of the top of the bag strap. So it should look like that. And then I'm going to put my slip knot on the hook, and I'm going to pull the loop through both of those loops and chain one to just attach those together. So we're now just going to basically slip stitch all the way down this curve, and then we're going to go straight down and then across, back up, etc, etc. So I'm just going to show you how to do the slip stitch. So I'm just going to go into the first, this part, this V of the bag panel, and the next available kind of space on the bag strap. Insert your hook into both of those, and then I'm just going to yarn over and pull through. So you should have two loops on the hook, and then I'm just going to pull that loop through like that. So I'm going to repeat that again. You should insert the hook into both sides, and then yarn over, pull through, and yarn over, not yarn over, just pull through. So repeat that again. Insert, pull through and pull through. And that is your slip stitch. So I'm just going to continue this all the way around. Remember, I'm just attaching this side of the bag strap first, and then once we finish that, we will attach this side of the bag panel to this side of the bag strap. Okay, so this is what it should look like when you slip stitched all around, and I'm just going to fasten off now. And I'm going to repeat this on the other side. Okay, so once you have all of your panels joined together, you're just going to want to measure an approximate width of your bottom of your bag. So I'm going to start about here, finish about here, so it's about 10 inches, and you're going to want to measure the thickness as well of the bottom, which is about 2 inches. So you're going to grab your fabric and you're going to want to measure that out on your fabric, because you're going to want to make a smaller strip at the bottom. I'm going to measure 10 inches, which is here, and then 2 inches, which is here. I'm just going to roughly draw that out. And I'm just going to cut this box out. So the final part of assembling this bag, you're just going to need to sew the bag strap on. So I'm just going to take my tapestry needle and attach the yarn, and I'm going to flip this on its side so you can see. So you want your bag strap to be place the bag strap right here. So I'm going to pop it about there and just pull through. Just ignore the little tails for now. I'm going to go back in and pull through, and then into the next space here and pull through, and then back through the strap and pull through. And just repeat this until you get to the end. I'm just going to weave back through to make sure that it's secure. Okay, and then I'm just going to attach the needle to a little loop and pull through until you are left with a small loop, and then you want to go back through that loop to create a knot, and then just pull tight. And then I'm just going to repeat that in the exact same spot to make a double knot. Like that. I'm just going to cut that. And this is the point now where you want to weave in all your ends. So now that the ends have all been sewn in, I'm now going to work on neatening these edges of the fabric. So you're going to want to fold down each side of the panel to neaten it. I'm just going to fold down just a small amount, literally the tiniest, and then I'm just going to grab a pin and pin that down like that. I'm just going to pin down a really small amount down the seam, and then you can see that when you've pinned it down, the edges are nice and neat. So I'm just going to do this all the way around each of my pieces of fabric. So I've got all my panels pinned. I'm going to take now my embroidery thread. I'm going to just cut some off. I'm going to make a small knot. So you can start at any point of your panel, but I'm just going to start in this corner here because I took one of the pins off, so it'd be easier. So I'm going to just flip this the other way, and I'm going to go from left to right, so I'm going to go anti-clockwise. You want kind of like the string parts to be on the wrong side, so I'm going to start by inserting my needle into the back, the wrong side. I'm going to go all the way down. Just carefully pull that through. And then I'm going to come up back through next to it, like that. Pull that through. Be very careful when you're pulling it through, because you've got obviously lots of pins, like what's just happened now where it's got hooked on. Okay, and then you're just going to repeat that, go back into the next space. I'm leaving kind of an equal amount of space there, pull through. Okay, then again to the next spot. And then back down. To the next spot. So you just kind of want to keep working, going up, pull through, and then back down, pull through, all the way around, and then I'll show you how you can secure the thread once you reach the end here. So I've now reached the end of my sewing, so I'm just going to show you now how I would fasten off. So I'm just going to go back over the same stitch that I just did a couple more times. Just to make sure that it's secure. And then I'm going to do my final one and make sure that the needle comes through on the wrong side. Okay, so that's what it's looking like. And then I'm just going to insert the needle through that thread loop here, pull through, leave a little gap, forward loop, and I'm going to go straight through that loop to make a little knot, and again repeat that to make a double knot. Okay, and then I'm just going to cut that. And that is exactly how you fasten off your panel. I'll complete all my other panels and then I will meet you back to sew everything together. So this is what all your panels should look like when you've sewn all the edges down. So now we are just going to be joining these three pieces of fabric together like this, and then that is what's going to make the inside lining of our bag. So we're going to sew everything on the wrong side so that when we flip it over it's nice and seamless. So I'm just going to flip them all over, and I'm going to start pinning this section first, and then I'm going to pin this section next. Okay, so that's what it should look like, and then when it's technically also down, this is going to be what that looks like. So I'm just going to sew this down, and then I will do the exact same thing to this side where I will pin these edges together and then sew it down. So I will come back when I've sewn across here and across here. So this is what it should look like when all of your seams are sewn together. So I'm just going to trim any loose little pieces that are sticking out. Just get rid of them before we sew it to the bag. Okay, so you should take your bag now and place it on the wrong side. So you should have all your seams that we slip stitched on the outside. And you're going to take your fabric and line it up, and then I'm just going to pin all around the edge of the entire fabric panel. Okay, so I have my bag fabric all pinned, and I'm going to start in the corner and I'm going to go anti-clockwise and and then I'm going to go round here, up and round and so on, and back to the other side. So basically I am doing the same process as we've done before, but because obviously we want all of our little tails and ends to be hidden, I'm going to start by inserting the hook on from the back of the fabric, just so that that tail is hidden. I'm just going to tuck that down and then we can start sewing. So I'm going to go into the fabric and I'm just going to pick up a small amount of the yarn, just a small amount like that, and pull through. And just be careful with the pins because your thread will most likely get caught on them, like that. Okay, and then you just want to go back through the yarn, just a small amount, not the whole stitch, like that, and then back through the fabric. Okay, so I'll just repeat that again. I'm going through the fabric and I'm picking up a small amount of the yarn as well and pulling through, and then I'm going back through a small part of the yarn and then back through the fabric. So I'm just going to repeat this now all the way around the edge, and then I will come back when it is all finished. Okay, so here's what the bag's looking like. I noticed that I didn't do like a piece of fabric to cover this part up, so I think that I'm going to cut out 2 more strips of fabric that are the length of these 2 side parts of the bag, as you can see here. So I'm going to cut 2 more strips of fabric, fold the edges, sew the sides of the edges, and then I'm going to sew each piece of fabric on, because I just think that otherwise it kind of looks a bit unfinished. So yeah, I'll come back when I finish that. So I've just finished lining it fully and I much prefer it now. So now I'm going to move on to the final step, which is making the flap and also sewing the button on. So you're going to take your yarn and you're going to make a slip knot, and then you're going to want to make a chain of 6. And then going to make a single crochet in the second chain from the hook. And then you're going to make a single crochet into each chain down the row. Okay, now for row 2, you're going to chain 1, turn your work, and I'm going to weave in this end as I'm going along, and you're going to make another single crochet into each stitch along the row. Okay, so you're now going to repeat this until you have 6 rows in total. Okay, so now we've reached row 6. I'm going to now chain 1. I'm going to single crochet into the first stitch, and then I'm going to make a chain of 6. And then I'm going to make a single crochet into that last stitch of the row. So it should look like that. And then I'm going to make a single crochet all around this edge. So now I've reached the chain. I'm going to single crochet in that single crochet, and then I'm going to single crochet into each chain. Single crochet in that single crochet, and then I'm going to slip stitch into that first single crochet that we made, and then I'm just going to chain one and fasten off, and then I'm just going to weave in the ends for this. Okay, so to sew your flap onto the bag, I'm going to take some yarn, I'm going to cut some, and we're going to sew the flap to the bag. So I'm going to just do a double knot. I'm going to take my tapestry needle and place the yarn on it. Okay, and now I'm going to line up the flap to the back of the bag and then in the center like this. And I'm going to sew the back loop of the 5 stitches here to the front loop of 5 stitches in the middle. So I'm just going to make sure that is central. So I'm just going to line that up. I'm going to insert the hook from the front loop here. Insert the needle. I keep saying hook. And insert it into the back loop here. Again, insert from the front loop and the back loop here and pull through. Repeat. Okay, and then I'm just going to repeat that back across to make sure that it's secure. Okay, and then I'm just going to bring the yarn to the inside of the flap, and I'm just going to sew into a few areas to make sure that it's secure. And then I'm going to double knot. I'm going to make a double knot here. Like that. And then I'm just going to weave to a few more areas and then cut the yarn. Flap is attached, so now the last step is just to sew on the button. I'm going to line up where the flap folds over to about here, and I'm going to just place my button there. Okay, and then you're just going to want to get some embroidery thread. Okay, so I've got my needle and thread ready, and I'm just going to sew in the exact spot of where the button is, so about here. I'm just going to bring that thread through like that a few times just to make sure that it is secure. As you can see, I'm just going over these loops a few times. I'm just going to place the needle through the buttonhole like that and pull through. Make sure that it is in the exact position that you want it, and you can pull tight. then you just want to go through the same spot again and pull through. And then go into the button again and pull through. And you just want to repeat this process of threading the needle through the bag and then back through the button until your button is secure. So I will come back when my button is secure enough and I will show you how to fasten off. So my button is all secure, so now I'm just going to fasten off. Same as we've been doing before, I'm just going to make a double knot in one of these loops. I'm just going to go into a space here and I'm not going to pull all the way through. I'm going to leave a loop and then insert the needle through that loop and pull tight, and then I'm going to do the exact same thing in that same space a few more times just to make sure that that knot is secure. Okay, that is all ready now to cut. Okay, and as you can see, the bag should fasten nicely like that. And that is all done. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, please consider subscribing, giving a thumbs up, and if you have any suggestions of what you'd like me to make next, feel free to leave those in the comments below. Bye guys!